Today I want to talk a bit about the Department of Truth, and it is a graphic novel. Recently had book one come out in terms of like hardback, and I believe it's continuing pretty soon. I do know that they're making it into a television show, and it's one of the works of James Tynan I am more interested about. And when I was reading this book at the beginning, it really like grabbed me, thinking about the conspiracies and how they're basically our fantasy, but by believing in that fantasy, they become reality. And it kind of makes you like see all these different things from not just like a worldly perspective, but an American perspective of what we have learned, what we have seen growing up. Whenever it came to the moon landing, assassination of a president in Dallas, and just different little trickles and events that happen here and now within our history. And the main character it follows is Cole Turner, I believe, and he basically gets recruited by an organization called the Department of Truth. But as the story is unfolding, it kind of shifts the narrative a bit of showing like Department of Truth is a big government wanting to keep things under wraps, wanting to keep things kosher or in line, and the Black Hat is the opposition of Department of Truth, where they want things to be out in the open. So it's two viewpoints that are clashing together, and it creates a really good narrative, I feel, just by getting a glimpse of like both sides and kind of like leaving it up to the reader to be like which side is the right side. And it really is dependent on the reader, I feel. And the art is, it has pretty like wicked art in terms of like the colors, the darkness, and sometimes it's a little bit hard to tell what's going on, but I think that it makes it more noir, more dark feeling, more like grounded. And sometimes it has more like old school comic book art, or just something that's unique in the way that they tell the story, that it's progressing. And I would say like the one thing that I didn't really care about was like I liked the Bigfoot story. I really liked it. It was very well done. I just didn't like the cursive. Like I know how to like write cursive, read it, but it's kind of hard to read cursive in the way that they put it into the book itself. I kind of wish that there was a different way to do that, just because I was just finding it a bit hard to read. And when you're already reading a comic book and most of it's words, in my opinion, I read comic books for not just the writing but the art, the panels and stuff. So if I'm reading like mostly word entries or there's like a ton of text, it's very makes it feel very bogged down to me. But that's the only like real complaint I have with it. And how this like story made me feel as I was going through it, I feel like very engrossed and engaged with what was going on, following Cole's journey, information about his background. The world building is very, very like, I wouldn't say expansive, but there's a lot of time that's spent on building up this world. And you get a good amount of like story into like Cole, but not really like the other characters as much. So I'm hoping to get more character background information. But there was one issue that really got to me, just because of recent stuff. Whenever it comes to the news, had to do with like a school, and seeing how the mother who had a kid that she lost, and just going through this rabbit hole, believing like a conspiracy. And because of the way the world works, when many people believe a conspiracy, or they believe, like, let's say the Bigfoot or Loch Ness monster, it becomes reality. So it's kind of like she's trying to manifest her son to be alive again, just because she misses her child that much. A very touching issue, very effective issue, and just messing with me. So I think that was really good. And the characters, they are pretty good in terms of like just feeling like they're different, like tones, different personalities. I do like the way that the book kind of like ends, because it makes you wonder like what's gonna happen in the future for this series. I'm hoping whenever it comes to the series, it goes deeper in towards like Illuminati, Cthulhu, urban legend type of stuff. Because this one felt like it was, it did have like aliens and some cryptids, but it felt like it was mostly focused into like governments, conspiracies, and the current stuff that's been going on in the news and stuff. So I think it's a good read. It's very effective at what it does. Really depends on your viewpoint on things whenever it comes to news, but I feel like the story itself doesn't really like do anything that's like shocking in terms of like, well, does some, there is some stuff that is shocking, but whenever it comes to like government politics and conspiracies, if you're someone who's been interested in that, or of it, or you kind of follow it, you can understand where the story is kind of going to go. It does go out there in terms of like stuff happening left field. Has a lot of interesting character designs for the creatures or the people that it's trying to place on this little board that is playing with whenever it comes to Department of Truth. So I really like it. I think it's a good read. The book itself is very big, has a lot of issues in it, and it's pretty solid too in terms of like the quality of the book itself. Really glad that it's got a hardback volume, and I can't wait to read more whenever it comes to Department of Truth.